Okay, so if you're anywhere near my age, plus or minus, I don't know, 20, 30 years, you probably remember sitting around and making cool things like this with your SpiroGraph. So what I want to do right now is show you how to make essentially SpiroGraph pieces, like the template and the rings and all the gears with the classic sort of spiral holes in it, using a couple of free and easy software pieces, if you have a laser cutter, of course. But nonetheless, let's get started. First thing we're going to need to do is generate some sort of gear templates. And what I like to do is I use this free gear generator right here. I just put it into Google. Usually for me, it's the first one that pops up. I'm going to click on it. And now we have this wonderful page that allows us to create some custom-made gears. So first thing I'm going to do is work on that outer ring, okay, that everything works with. And to do that, I need to have my number of teeth be less than 0. So I'm going to make it a negative 100. I'm going to make it a 100-tooth gear. And I want, I've learned that you really kind of need kind of big teeth, okay? If you use little teeth, it tends to kind of skip and jump. So I'm going to use some pretty good sized teeth. So I'm going to set the module to 2. And let's go ahead and preview. And actually all I want to look at right now is just gear 1. Let's update it. Which is going to be the primary gear. There we go. And if I got it right, I want it to be about 200 millimeters, so I'll be able to lay it on a 4 and an 8 by 11 sheet of paper. And sure enough, it's perfect. It's 200 millimeters is the outside diameter. So I'm going to go ahead and download this guy as a DXF. And it'll be my first download over here. So now the next thing to do is to start generating pieces that we can use, like for example this gear. And in fact, I'm going to take advantage of it. So I'm going to make sure that I cut it so that one of the drawing gears will be a perfect fit. And I can use both of these. So then I'll make a smaller gear for inside of here as well. So we've got 100 teeth. So let's make another gear right now. In this case, we do want it to start off at least as a regular sort of gear. Okay. So we want this to be a positive number. And I want to make it, I don't want to make it divisible by 100, because then I just end up making, if I end up making a 20, it's going to be a star, because it's going to just work around. There's 5 times it rotates. It's just going to be a star. So I want something that's not going to be divisible, so that I end up getting that cool shifting spiral pattern that we all know and love. So I think I'm going to take and make it, I want it to be fairly small. I think I'll make it 61. Okay, so that's not going to be divisible cleanly into 100. And let's go ahead. I'm going to look at only gear 1. And let's take a look at it. Okay, awesome. Here's our 61 tooth gear. So let's download that one. All right. Now what I want to do is I want to make the gear that fits inside that we'll ultimately cut our spiral into. So let's make that one also not divisible. Let's make it 20-ish less. So let's make it, I don't know, 43. Okay. And we're going to update it. And here's our 43 tooth gear. And actually we're going to just do this right now, because I want to keep it moving kind of quick. And that's actually enough for us to get to work on it. I think, yeah, we should be good. So now I'm going to go ahead and open up LibreCAD. And I'm going to open my first one, okay, which is that 100 tooth. All right, let's take a look at it. And of course, you're going to see there's multiple layers. The inner layer there, that first layer is going to be that outer ring. And we're ultimately going to delete it because we need to build a frame around it. But I'll just go ahead and do that now. That actually draws it twice, which is a little frustrating. These second two, you can see that they're duplicates. I'm not exactly sure why. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take and get rid of one of these altogether. Okay, there we go. So now we have a single cut that we can use to make this outer piece. So I think what I'll do now is create myself a rectangle around it. Like that. And then I think actually I'll do is I'll explode that. And I'm going to use the fillet tool to give me a nice round edge on it. And set for 20. That seems probably right for something as big as this. Okay. I could have changed that up there. I could change that to different radiuses, but 20 I think looks good. And voila. Okay, excellent. So I'm going to save as, and this is going to be my frame. Cool. Okay. So now let's open up the next one, which was this one, which I forget. I think we did 61 teeth, something like that. And I'm going to do the same thing that I did with the other one. These are duplicates. I don't want my laser to cut it twice, so I'm going to go ahead and just get rid of one of these, delete it. And then, oddly enough, as before, I'm going to leave that hole. It's kind of nice, but there's 2 copies of it, so I just deleted one of them. So now it's going to make a single pass when it goes to my laser cutter. Okay, that's actually all we need to do with this for the moment. And I'll call this, I'm just going to call it 63. Or 61, I guess it was. Okay, and let's open up the next one. Alright, this is going to be our inner one. This is the one we're going to do our spiral on. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to delete one of these layers. And I'm going to click here and get rid of one of these rings. Alright, so I'm going to copy this and paste it right into the inside of the outer ring. So let's go ahead and copy it. Select it. And then I'm going to go, well, actually, I'm just going to do it the old-fashioned way, okay, which is Control-C. I'm going to anchor it. I could use center, but it's already centered onto one of the grids, so I'm going to just use a grid lock. I'm going to choose that as my point. I'm now going to open up, I have to remember which one it is. Hold on. It's probably this one. Yep, all right. And I'm going to paste this right there. Okay. Now keep in mind I have 2 of those circles again, so I'm going to select the inner circles. I'm going to select one and delete it, so I only have one. Alright, so now we need to draw all the little points that we're going to be using to stick our pencil in. Okay. And I'm going to do that. I'm going to create a new layer. And I'm going to color it green, and I'm going to call it my axes. All right, we're going to use that as our reference. And I'm going to select center point circle, zoom in a little bit, and I can just using my keyboard, I'm going to start off with a 4, enter, and then millimeters, and then I'm going to click, and 6, and then 8, and then 10, whoops, dang it, 10, and then 12, 14, 16, 18, this is probably more than well, we'll keep going, 22, 24, 26, 28, 30, 32, 34, 36, 38. I probably could have been doing this differently. 40, 42, 44, 46, 48, 50, 52, 54. That's good enough. Okay. I probably should have done those in every 4 or every 5. I got a little carried away there. Okay, so now we got our concentric circles we can work with as a reference point. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a horizontal line, and I'm going to snap it right there. Oh, I should have made that bigger. Let me do that again. I'm going to choose a horizontal line, and I want it to be, I'll make it 100, and snap it. Okay, now I've got a horizontal line. So now what I want to do is I'm going to select that line, and I want to rotate it like so. I'm going to click the center, click some point on the line, drag it, I don't care, anywhere right here. We're going to make multiple copies of it. It's 360 all the way around, which means we need 35 more of them if we're going to do it every 10 degrees, which is what I'm going to do. You can choose your own. Alright, so now we've got all these points that we can deal with. Now it's time to draw the circles that we're going to cut out to stick our pencil in. So I'm going to create another layer, and I'll call this holes. Okay. And I'm going to make it, I'll make it magenta. Alright. And 2 millimeters is probably a good size for a pencil. So I'm going to go ahead now and choose my center point. I'm going to start right, well, I'm going to go with intersections. And I'm going to go here, 2, enter. And then I want to go, I'm going to go up 2 and over 4. I should have done this differently. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's pretty okay. Up 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. And up 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. And up 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Tell you what, I'm going to pause it and finish this, so you don't have to sit there and watch me do this, but I'm going to work my way all the way out. Okay, let me pause it. Okay, so I finished drawing. I stuck one out here. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to hide those axes. And I realize that I probably can't really cut this one, so I'm going to delete that one. Now what I want to do is just copy this, all of these guys, because I'm going to do a quick rotation and make another set of them. So I'm going to rotate, choose that as my, whoops, let me go back to the snaps like this, choose my center, choose my axes. I'm just going to, it doesn't really matter, I'm going to throw it down right there, and I'm going to keep the original, and I'm going to make a single copy at 180 degrees. Okay, there we go. So now I've got lots and lots of holes to choose from. So now that's done. All we have to do is take this and copy it, and Control C, and choose my reference point, and then we need to find the other one. Let's see, which is this one. Nope, it's this one. There we go. And we're going to paste it like there. Okay, let me save it. And give me a moment, I'm going to open up Lightburn. Okay, so I got Lightburn open. All I need to do now is import it, like so. And of course, in my case, actually I should probably change these all to black because I want them all cut. And you can see that I'm ready to go ahead and cut this with Lightburn. And I could actually make a couple of smaller gears using the same technique and then have a multi-gear set and not waste any wood. So hopefully that was useful. And as usual, I'll see you again soon.